Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. Thank you for joining me wherever you're tuning in from. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? Every Wednesday and Friday, dropped on where? Instagram. Follow me there if you like. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Help you boy, help yourself. And if you like to check out patreon.com/robsadri to fiscally, financially support the show, there's always that option as well for you. If you've been with me from the get-go, and thank you for all the love and support. You know who you are out there, and slowly but surely, we are growing. It takes time to get it. That growth takes time. Personal, collective growth takes time. We're doing it like growth hormones. That's right. So thank you for joining me again. If it's your first time, we're about having fun. We tickle each other's, funny bones, membranes, whatever we like to tickle, we tickle it together. A little bit of tickling here, a little bit of tickling there. Not really like in the physical sense, but more so in the brain to brain, heart to heart, fart to fart, tit to tit. That's what we do. So thank you for joining me wherever you're tuning in from. Like always, if you're here in Canada, what's going on, everybody? February's here. That's the holy smokes, dude. It's February. It is winter's. We're halfway through winter almost. That's what it is. So shout out to the gang doing it. If you're down south in the United States, further down south than that in Mexico. South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, as always. Tokyo, Japan, hello. Finland, what's going on? Icelandic people. The Polish, how are you guys? The Singaporeans, the people in Holland, everywhere, really, wherever we're in Nigeria. Senegal, hello. Good evening, good morning. Whatever time it is in your time zone, salute to you. Sip to the gang. It's Friday. We're going to hang loose. We're going to talk about a few different things. Have fun. Let's get a sip of this. I just made this. This is really hot. Boys and girls, ladies and gents. And, I like to give back as well. Yeah, if you've been with me from the get-go, you know what it is. But your boy likes to give back. If you've just joined us today, there's a ton of stuff for you to check out. Archives, check out the catalog, but every video, every now and again, I like to, just things that I like to give away. What do I like to give away today? You get a mammogram. You get a mammogram. You get a mammogram. No, sir, ma'am, you both get a mammogram. Mammograms for your grandma, mammograms for your auntie, mammograms for your uncles and your cousins too. Mammograms for everybody. If you check under your seat right now, free mammogram. Check behind the driver's seat. Mammogram. Whoa! Don't get surprised. Mammogram. Pop the hood. What's in your hood? Mammogram. Hello. Check out the shed. What's in the shed? You've not been in your shed for some time. Hello. Mammogram. You buried a time capsule in your backyard. Dig it up. What's in there? Mammogram. Open up the fridge. Hello. Giving out free what? Mammograms. And that's what it is. So you're welcome, everybody. Just because I was like thinking, what do the people want? And if I know one thing that the people have always wanted, it's free, unlimited access to mammograms. Now, do I, to check out a titty on a surface level is fine, but to go in depth is another. It's another. You're heading out into new territories, and that's the thing. Shout out to whoever did it, but whoever did it also was a little bit. They weren't. I'm assuming that their heart was probably in the right place. Let's, got together with a few buddies. Let's, oh man, these titties needs further inspection. Let's look behind the nip. Let's look behind the areola. What is this? Is that a lump? Is that not a lump? No lump, great, but do a mammogram anyway if there's no lump. Just check it out. But, the intention, I guess, was to be of assistance, to be of aids, to be of, medical assistance, really. But there is something about whoever invented it. There is something about the fellow or lady, whoever was behind it. They were a little bit sadistic. I'm just going to put it on the table. A little bit sadistic because you could have easily just went ahead and said, let's take a photograph of these. Let's get a surface level understanding of what is going on, what we're dealing with here. Just get a picture of the titty. And then again, in order to go in depth, somebody was like, we need to, yes, it's great to look at what's on the outside, but what's on the inside? It's the insides that count. And they had options. You could have just easily, I'm assuming, I'm not a medical professional by any stretch of the imagination, but you could have done x-rays. There's technology for that, but you could have done LiDAR. You could have done whatever to see what's inside. But somebody was like, no, we need to squeeze the tit, really squeeze and pinch the tit. And I don't know how that meeting, how did that pitch meeting go? How did that round table go when they were like, oh, we need to see what's inside. Can we just, somebody threw out again, X-rays, LiDAR, holding up a flashlight right next to it just to see if you can see what's inside, whatever, try glow in the dark. Glow in the dark tits, you can always see what's inside. But the point is, somebody was adamant about squeezing the tits really, really tight and really like, and I don't know how that pitching, like, that pitch went, that meeting, how did it go? I'm assuming it was just like, again, ideas flowing around, but somebody was like, we need to apply pressure. And others were like, why? Well, why do you insist on, applying pressure? And, you need to squeeze the tit to see what's inside. You need to squeeze it until it hurts a little bit. And keep squeezing. So they were like, we get the squeezing. Maybe you want to like, do you mean squeeze it and hold it into place so it doesn't slip out of the machine that's doing the X-ray, that's doing the seeing through the LiDAR for the human body? Do you need it to be held in place? You're like, no, you need to squeeze it so it hurts. So that's a little bit of me thinking that whoever was behind it, despite the fact that they had good intentions, a little bit, because like, but that's what it is. With the no gain, no pain. No pain, no gain. One of the either or works. But nonetheless, I know you guys wanted it. You guys wanted it, and I wanted to give it out to you for free. So please go ahead and check a titty today. Write in the results. If everything's great, hey, yeah, let's go. Great, fantastic. If it's not, then it's we can nip it in the bud. Don't worry about it. Whatever it is, we can take care of it together. But free mammograms for everybody. Just wanted to put that on the table. Think about it. Let's get a sip of this. But I don't want to focus on, what I like to do and what I like to, be able to provide. That's, today is it's February. And like many of you guys and gals, it's so great to be living in a age of, access to information, knowledge, not full access. Of course, everything still comes with, certain limits and boundaries and whatnot. But nonetheless, what a great time. Internet, access to as many books as you want, access to as many people as you like. Everybody, you want an expert in any field, boom, right there on your phone. You want 10 different opinions on a certain topic so you can, better help yourself decide on whatever you want to choose between. It's all there, available to you. But it's, but it's that time. It's February, and it's time we get talking about certain topics that I've been, that's on everybody's mind these days, right? Especially during the month of February. I believe everybody was talking about, and it's going to be talking about, the back. It's Back History Month. It's Back History Month, is what I've heard, and I'm in full support of Back History Month, and also racing, races, different sort of races, and we're learning together. So let's start with the back. Let's start with the back first of all. They say without the back, you'd never have the front. Let's just let that sit for a second. Without the back, you would not have the front. Let's just take a minute to let that sink in. Without the back, you'd not have the front. And I had to look at myself. I'm like, what's holding all this? What's holding all that? I get to see some of this, at least, because I got my eyes in front of me, like many of you guys and gals out there, and I get to see all this. And I go, okay, yeah. Seemingly, it's all just held together by, I don't even know what, dude. But that's the thing. It's all in the back. It's all in the back. Everything that's holding this up, it's from the back. So I get it. The back is of high importance, and not just my back, not just your back, everybody's backs. I don't even know if 1 month is enough to focus on the back. A lot of people, it's like, a lot of people, I say we should just include it in every day, it's just like, it's so much of us. It's so much, it constitutes so much of our being. It's been with us from the beginning. Again, if there was no back, there would be no front. If there was no darkness, there would be no light. If there was no black, there'd be no white. Like, it's, again, I know we're talking about right now, we went into coloring, totally different thing, but somewhat relatable, right? You can extrapolate. So the back is of high importance. Again, if it wasn't for your back, you'd probably not have a front. If it wasn't for your back, you'd probably not be able to sit down. You just kind of like, you'd waddle a little bit, and then you tip over in any direction, depending on the wind, depending on the speed of the current. So thank God we've got some girth to us. Thank God we got some width, some back to, and different people. Again, There's different types of backs. There is, there's small sized backs, there's medium sized backs, there's large sized backs, there's extra large backs, there's triple XL backs, and it's all to be celebrated. I don't discriminate personally when it comes, as long as it's somewhat proportionate. I think everybody is beautiful in their own way. I think backs are, you can't, there is really no one better when it comes to backs. I've never been able to look at two backs and be like, what is, because it's first of all is, yes, there's subjective, and then there is personal experiences, and then there's the eye of the beholder, and then there's the eye of the times too. The eye of the times, like what's culturally, what's historically right now viewed as a nice back. So thousands of years ago, you'd find a little statue. Oh, what is this? This is a statuette of Venus from Willendorf or whatever the fuck. The little tiny 4-inch. And then you see this big bodied. She's well rounded, a lot of back, because back then, thousands of years ago, big back, big was in, and at times you don't know which, that's the thing. At times big comes in, then medium comes in, then small comes in. Right now it's it's always changing. It's since the dawn of mankind, really, since the dawn of time, since humanity's inception, the back has always been a big important part of us. It is important that we talk about it more. Again, just going from the basics, not having anything to sit around. You'd be in a cave. You'd be in the Sahara Desert. You'd be in the rainforest, and all you had was it's just your body. Maybe some you didn't have our everyday luxuries. You wanted to sit. You had to sit. And lie down on your back. You'd sit down with your back, and it was just bare bones. Butt to the ground, back to the ground, laying down, and again, back comes first. Before we had the chance to evolve, again, it took thousands of years for us to be able to develop beds so we can turn and on our sides, on our stomachs. So the back is extremely important, one of the parts that gets neglected all the time. I personally think there's plenty of money to go around. I'm not saying give more to I'm not saying pay more attention to the focus on everything. I'd like to say equally. It's just as equal as the front. It's just as it's just as good as the side. It's if you were to it's again, if it wasn't for your back, you'd never be able to even again going back ancestrally, lying down on the on the hills, on the wherever, and you wanted to look up to the sky. If you had no back, you wouldn't be able to look up because you'd just be face down. So we'd be missing out on all the stars. We'd be missing out on astrology. We'd be missing out on, whatever, just our ancestors, again, gazing into the skies. Lots of gaze, just gaze for days towards the skies. Not you know what I mean? So backs is very important. Again, if you don't have a strong back, your front is probably vulnerable too. I'll say that. If you don't, because a lot of times people, specifically nowadays, we get into especially when you're younger, you start to develop a little bit, whether you're male, female, you're oh, what do I want to focus on? And you perhaps focus on just the front because you're people will see me just from but take into account, half the people are behind you. Statistically speaking, half the people are behind you. According to the charts, a good portion of the, I'm not quite sure if it's exactly 50-50, but it could be on any given day, it could be at least 30-40, 30-70, 30-20. Some might be just on the side. You never even know. That's the thing. Some might be on the side. So 70-30, 80-20. You got a good portion. You got at least 10% behind you. You got at least 10%. Sometimes that's the best. That's the top. Because and that's these are my thoughts about it. Do I think that, again, is there any smaller backs were probably, I'll say this, back in the day, let's start with the big and then we'll get to the medium and then the small. So back in the day, it would have been highly beneficial for you to have a big back. It meant as a female, as a male, it's just big backs, big burly back. As a dude, you were oh, this is, this guy can fucking climb a mammoth. This guy can milk a mammoth. He can climb and milk a mammoth. You saw a big back, you're this guy's a mammoth climber. Or this guy's a mammoth milker. It depends, different tasks, hunter-gathering society, of course. Or, this guy's got a big back. I can hop on his back if I happen to. If you broke a leg, You didn't want a small back man. You didn't want a small, you wanted the largest backs. Those are the backs that you're like, okay, this guy's probably not great at conversation, but a huge back. He can carry me over this hill. He can carry me over this mountain. And not to judge, just because he's got a big back doesn't mean he's not a good conversationalist. Let's not, put people in boxes. That being said, big backs, as you can see, were in back in the day for, way back in the day for men's, women's too, because big back, we didn't have, again, we didn't have our understanding of science and technology that we do today. So you initially just had your, innate animal instincts. You looked at a big back and you're like, it just innately, something went inside you and it just clicked. You're like, this bitch is good for procreation. She can handle it. Let's go, lady. And you'd snatch her up from the other fellas. You'd probably get, and again, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of years ago when we were just like, just raw animals fighting over territories, resources, getting to breed, getting to create, getting to, and she probably wanted a big back too, because she wanted to probably squish some of the, if you were like, if you weren't like up to the task, she'd just give you a little right there, a little booty shuffle and get out of the way. I don't have time for this. We don't got much, but I do need a man's with a big back. That's what she said. And it made sense for back because he had to for survival. So big backs were in again. And then eventually it got down to, we probably at one point, took a long time, it went through waves, but having big backs was associated, again, if you had really, plump, if you were big back, they'd look at you and be like, man, this guy or this lady has access to resources. So the back is important. So you wanted to potentially hook up with somebody, link up with somebody that was big backed. Well, this lady's just, she's just on her back all day, not lifting a thing. Resources. This fella's just sitting on his back, telling others to go and do this, that, and the other. So, resources, power, all that jazz. So eventually we did, you go through ups and downs. Medium probably came into, I don't know the exact, probably I'm going to go medieval ages. You saw a lot of, medieval ages, turn of the century, you did see mid-size come into fashion. And again, that was the time where we started to, we started, I guess, evolve from having to go from a hunter-gatherer. We got a little bit of technology under our belts. We got a little bit of technology under our armpits. We got a little bit of technology up our ass. We got a little bit of technology in our crotch. We got a little bit of technology on our shoulder. You know what I'm saying? We got a little bit of technology. We got a little bit more resources. And all of a sudden, we didn't have to have those heavy, huge backs to be like, I can provide. You could be like a medium-sized back person and do really well in society. And there wasn't, the females would look at a fella, medium-sized back, that's a good-sized back for this side, and they made houses and doorways according to people's, and then at one point, I think that's how the giants, I think that's, we either subconsciously or consciously got rid of giants by making smaller doorways, because at one point or another, we're like, there's, these houses could be, we could make, let's set standards at one point or another. Like anybody 7 foot above, we're like, what, niche market, maybe we'll figure it out later. Maybe some sort of activity that involves like recreational sports and stuff. And sports wasn't even a thing, but they're like, we'll do something with yous, but we can't have it already be like 7 feet and above. It's just, the doors need to be, it's lumber, there's resources, time, and it's heavy lifting and cutting and all that shit. So we decided with medium sized. And then at one point, eventually, small size, slender. At one point, there was like, oh man, that became a sign of having access to wealth, perhaps resources, and a sign of this fella's just a slender man, or this lady's slender, or whatever. And that was it for whatever. This fella can just slide through a corridor. This lady could just wear a dress and on a windy day just fucking umbrella in hand, and up you go. You're just traveling because you're lighter now. So it all had, again, there's no better or worse. There is no, I can't say, it's just circumstantial. I'll say it's like, again, eye of the beholder. Even today, now we have a lot of diversity, which that's what I love. Diversity is what I love. So whether you like big backs, medium-sized backs, small-sized backs, whatever is appropriate for you, I say go based on that. The more the merrier. I personally love a good, big booty man right here. I'm not booty over tits. I'll say I'm not tits over booty. I'll say this, but a good appreciation of a good back. So I get it, ladies. I get it, fellas. I get it. And look at this. Again, way more similarities than differences. I think, at least. Let me know what you think. Write a comment. If you like big backs, tell us why. If you like medium-sized backs, tell us why. Small, tell us why. And if you like to put, whatever, let's just, it's all about sharing, I think. So sip to the gang. And in, in terms of talking about back history, and again, I honestly think it should just be throughout the year. It should just be, it should be in physical health. It should be it should be a part of physical health, mental, which impacts your mental, which impacts your financial. It should just be like, it impacts where you end up in society. If you're, oh man, that guy's got a bad back, just, foot in a cast on his back, 12 months out of the year, this guy's not even in the game, you know what I mean? So it's like, support everybody is what I'm trying to say. But I guess when it comes down to, talking about back history, there is also, it reminds me of, it corresponds with race and races and racing. How I'm gonna do my best to try to, as I understand, I'm gonna try my best to explain to you guys how it correlates. Race. What are races? So from the beginning of time, humans have always been either knowingly or unknowingly competing. And again, going back to limited resources, limited time, limited energy, limited access, and all this, because you had to get out there and race. So people, whether it was for food or again the next best cave or the next best patch of land, you raced. You heard about something good over the hill, you're like, pack your bags, babe, we're racing, and you raced, and you didn't tell the other village members, or eventually it formed into towns and everything. But like before, we're talking hundreds of thousands of years ago, you were in a cave, just sleeping in a circle, fire if you were lucky. So you heard there's a green patch of land right by a river. You're raced, so you're a racist. You like racing. That's what it is, and that's the I believe that's where it came from. So the racist concept, the racism, the racers, I believe comes from that mentality of like, let's go out there, let's try to survive. I think it became a sort of like, I think it became an us versus them situation, because you're like, oh, I gotta get faster than these guys, I gotta get quicker to whatever it was. So it became a race, and then that evolved to so many different races, and we have so many different races today. Eventually, that brutal, I guess, raw, like, competing for like that fucking, zebra leg, like that evolved to, working for money, material goods and all that. And like, we've evolved, we've turned it into a sport, many sports, actually. One of my favorite races, again, I don't have a favorite, it's different. I would say one of my favorites, though, I would say I'll pick the 100 dash sprint. That's one of my favorite races because it's quick. You know what I mean? We're not waiting around to like, what's going on. If you want to decide something and it's just based on speed, agility, reaction time, fast muscle twitch, all that jazz. If you're looking for that's the 100 meter dash for me is one of my top favorite races. But that, before we even get into that though, the biggest, I think we're all racing, but I don't see it as, despite the fact that again, the 100 meter dash is one of my favorites, I don't see life as I don't see it as I guess it is a big race. You could say it's one big race. You could say life is one big race, but I don't see it as individuals or groups, different sports, you're like, you like 100 meter dash. I'm a marathon fan myself. I like an obstacle course myself. That's my type of race. That's the beauty of it. There's room for everybody. That's what I say. And again, looking at the whole big picture, I don't see it as despite the fact that in reality, sprinting, I do like that. If I were to pick, if I was, gun to the head, katana to the nuts, tickling my anus, I would say, again, 100 meter dash. That's my thing. I'll do that. but I like to think of life as a marathon, despite the fact that it does sometimes feels like you want to sprint to whatever it is you're sprinting. It's a marathon. Life takes time. You know, you want to go through stages, experience everything, be present. So in terms of, again, depends which one you like, but there's so many different. And then we eventually have created sports too. Those are some, you know, you could be racing and not even be on your feet or your back. You could be in water and racing. Michael Phelps, big racer, big. Some say big, one of the biggest. When it comes to he's a great racist. He's one, you know, but that's just swimming. Another great racist, Lewis Hamilton in F1, great racist. When it comes to racing, he's super fast. I'm not too familiar with F1, but when I know race, I know fast, I know speed, and Lewis Hamilton he's good at racing, son. I'll tell you that. And you know, but previously, I believe, again, I didn't grow up too much like following too much of like F1 or NASCAR or car racing. I'm a fan. I like sports. I like, you know, but you know, I'll check it out if I'm there in person. I'll check it out if we're watching people go, you know, because that's not something I can do. I appreciate difficult things that people do. You know, Michael Schumacher, another great racist, fast, super, you know, and it takes time to become like. So you see all walks of life doing it in different ways, and it gives me hope. It gives me, you know, motivation to do my best, or at least try. These are the things that I wanted to talk about a little bit about it, because yeah, again, it is Back History. If you're celebrating Back History Month, congratulations, happy Back History to you and your family if you're celebrating. If you are, you know, if you're considering racing. If you're considering, you know, how do I become a racer? Start by walking. Start by, or it could be the biggest race. Though I'll say this: the biggest race, I think it's us versus ourselves. Let that sit for a minute there. It's real. When you think about it, the biggest race is one race, and it's all with the self. Again, but it's all of us. So again, going back to the whole one race, one beautiful human race. It's many backs, different backs, 50 shades of backs. I think we're onto something here. Again, I don't know why we focus on the back. Some say, again, incorporated just as a whole system, like a form of existence. Others say it needs attention, and rightly so. It does, you know. But in case you notice any other thing that needs attention, you let your boy know, and I'll get there, and I'll put in the work, and I'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. So please be considerate when you're going outside. You know, see a person with a back, say hello. You're like, I don't have any friends with backs. You know, maybe that's right in front of you. Maybe it's right in front of you. Maybe you're looking for a specific kind of, and that, don't put them in a box. Don't pigeonhole them and be like, all backs need to be, you know, be like this or act like this or say this or say. It's, again, different sort of backs. So, you know, so don't narrow your perspective. Do not limit yourself and others. I think that's man, we're learning together, guys. I think I'm learning a little bit. I think maybe hopefully you guys are picking up something here and there, if by accident at least. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody doing it out there. Sip to the gang. Thank you for joining me again. I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, you know, just skirting, because I don't want the whole thing to be all about, like, you know, racing and, you know, the back population, because everybody's got back, dude. Everybody's got back in them. You got a little bit of back in you. Everybody's got a little bit. So shout out to all my back people though, like that. But that's everybody. You know what I mean? So making a difference, one step at a time, I think. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you know, let's skirt for a second. Let us skirt into what is going on in and around the world. You know, I did hear just randomly a spy pigeon was confiscated in India, Indian police, Indian authorities have taken a pigeon under, they took him in. They found a letter attached to his little legs, little teeny tiny pigeon legs, and it had some Chinese writing on it, and they held it in custody for about 8 months, which I found really interesting, and I wanted to share that with you in case you all missed it out there. But and they held him for 8 months. But that's the thing. Why did it take 8 months to figure out whether or not this? Because they caught a pigeon with a note attached to it, written in Chinese, and they thought this must be a Chinese, spy pigeon. Which is one of those things where you read that thing or you hear about it and you've not seen it. I've not seen a spy pigeon in person, but I've heard about it, and I read about it just yesterday. So now I got to, I'm like, man, could you use, are animals being used as spies? That's one thing that but at the same time, like, it took them 8 months to figure out whether or not this is a spy pigeon or just some, like, some pigeon who's into carrying, just notes and letters and whatnot. And it turned out it was an open water racing pigeon. And how did the interrogation go? Like, I want to know that. Like, because like, it took them 8 months. They took this pigeon in, they found it, had a note written in Chinese, and they're like, man, this must be a Chinese spy pigeon. And that pigeon like sit down in a room with like one-way mirrors and just like one-way glass, and he's cuffed up to like the stainless steel desk with like uncomfortable chairs, and he's asking for coffee, and they're like, you'll get your coffee eventually, and it's shining light in his eyes, his little tiny pigeon eyes. He's sweating a little bit. They're like, what are you doing here? No, he doesn't talk, he doesn't respond, just fucking just how did they find out, how did they get that confession out of that he's a open water pigeon, open water racing pigeon? That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm doing here. That's the story that I'm telling you guys, and that's what I'm going with. How did they know though? Did somebody come in there and like rough up a pigeon? You know what I mean? Did they do good cop bad cop in India? Was there like, how to get to the bottom of this? Did they like, did somebody like give him coffee, and then did somebody smack the coffee out of his hand right before he was about to drink it? What went down? Did he get a cigarette break? Did he pick up some, maybe he wasn't even a smoker. Maybe the pigeon was like the stress of being under that kind of like duress. It's like, oh, let me have a cigarette right now. So I'm interested. Are we using animals as spies? Because that's a difficult task to be able to pull off. Can we just get them to a food? Like, that's a far reach. Can we get them to just do just mundane little tasks? So like, if you could deliver packages, if you could do something that's a little bit, just like trim the hedges, go outside and pick up trash, or just like, not all of it, but like little bit by little, tiny packages. I'm not talking about I'm not trying to like take away jobs from people. I'm saying you got a little, earrings in a little tiny box, deliver this little pigeon or a little squirrel or whatever. Just, are we not utilizing animals is what I'm just, because that's the thing. The thought was, we see a pigeon with a note, we're like, oh, spy pigeon. And immediately you think to yourself, man, are these animals capable of doing more? And are the rest of us just missing out on animal potential? Could I be potentially getting myself 10 pigeons and opening up some sort of call center? Just pigeons on a phone, because you never know, dude. Am I missing out on let me know if there's a market, we can get in on the action together. I don't care for the animal either. Like, I do care for the animal, like genuinely I do. I love animals, but I don't care what type of animal. It could be dolphins, dude. It could be whatever. Get 10 of them in here. Let's start typing some whatever we need to come up with. Let's do it. We need to move product. Let's get a couple of monkeys, strap some backpacks to their bags, and fucking let's go. You know what I mean? So let me know if you think we should be utilizing animals for other jobs out there instead of just, because that's difficult work. If they are doing that, that's difficult. Spying would be difficult work. For an animal, it would be extremely difficult. So if they can do that, because that's the assumption, it took them 8 months to figure, I think they're capable of doing more. Let's utilize that. Let's not have wasted opportunities, wasted resources. They're saying, oh, there's we're having a difficult time hiring. Get a couple of pigeons. Apparently they're up, ready to go. So just thinking of everybody, thinking of myself, thinking about, us, all of us doing it together. Sip to the gang. Thank you. Mm. 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 Right there, baby. What else is going on in and around the world that's of interest? Farmers in Europe are, farmers are upset. Farmers in Europe are protesting. Farmers are, taken up in their farm equipment and going out there in Belgium and France and Italy maybe. In Europe, I'll just say Europe because I don't know exactly which country. I know France. I think France and Belgium for sure. I'm not quite sure whether because it doesn't get enough coverage, perhaps. Because that's what it is, dude. When you start seeing the farmers get out there, and you're like, what could it be? Immediately, I know everybody's thinking first reaction. You see upset farmers, they're like, and immediately everybody's first thought is they want access to more Glad You Made It videos. Where can they find it? Every Wednesday and Friday on Instagram and on YouTube and on patreon.com/RobSadri. But I would suspect it's something more than just that. I would suspect that it's potentially got something to do, if I were to take a wild guess, you're like, no, they want more of these videos. I'm like, dude, it's there. You don't need to, don't do it for me. I appreciate it. But don't, I'm going to go out on a limb and just put everything, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I'd say that it's got to do with high costs of just providing food for consumers. I'll say that the restrictions on the amount of the CO2s and, the cost of production has gone up. So I'm guessing it has something to do with that. I don't want you guys to be like, no, they're getting out there, they're saying, glad you made it. It's not so production, more videos. Just, I don't want to see empty shelves. Because these videos they will keep coming. We're not gonna stop. So it could be they're upset that they want more. There's so much, but you'll get more. You'll get, I promise. We will not stop. We're just starting out, you guys and gals. My big farmers, big support of big farmers here. Small farmers too. You start out small, you end up big one day. You know what I mean? So keep doing it. Thank you for everything that you do. Without them, we wouldn't have, without the farmers, you could say farmers are in the front lines of our existence, but they're in the back. I guess you could say they're in the back. And isn't it interesting how everything kind of intertwines together? So they're in the back. And all you see is all you do and all I do, myself included in this little game of life, this race, this one large race. I show up to the grocery store, I see the jars of jam, I see the bags of milk, I see the cookies, I see the crackers, I see bacon, I see lettuce. I see tomatoes, I see potatoes, I sees it all. And I know deep down inside, I know it comes from a farm. I know somebody had to grow this. I know somebody had to, get up at 3 a.m, get up at 4 a.m, and go just push an animal to the side and be like, not now, baby, not now. And go out there and do the good work that they do, which we all appreciate. Because we, one, love animals, 2, we love land. That's one part of the race to get some land. That's one part of it. It's all connected. Not all of it. Most of it is somewhat connected. A lot of it is somewhat connected, but not all of it. Not sometimes it has no correlation or, just because there's causation and correlation doesn't mean it's just because it's correlated doesn't mean it's causality. And point is, ladies and gentlemen, that the farmers are at the back. And they're working hard, and there are forces in this world like the WEF that you're familiar with, aka the lizards out there doing things, and governmental policymakers who are in line with such 3-letter global entities, and they come in there and start putting on restrictions, sometimes unrealistic restrictions on our farmers. And our farmers sometimes they're just people too. You don't think about it, but you're like, and then you go out there and you're paying so much for groceries. So somewhere along the line, Farmers are upset. You're not getting food. You'd like to get food. There's I bet the whole Russia situation is probably not helping with the food supply. Something about the Ukraine and being a large producer of wheat. So that, you know what I mean? One place is in war torn, can't produce wheat. Next thing you know, you jack up the cost of production and start imposing taxes, and farmers are like, enough is enough. I'm already overloaded with work because they gotta increase output, and you're limiting their abilities. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's bing bang boom, domino effect, shortage of food. Next thing you know, it starts with this. Bear with me a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes this happens. There we go. It starts with this, man. It starts with this. What were we talking about? Farmers. It starts with shortage of food. Next thing you know, people are munching on each other's assholes. Do you want to see people munching on each other's assholes? Well, maybe you do. I'm not gonna lie. Not in a sense of I'm not saying full-blown cannibalism. I'll watch videos of people are munching on crotchal regions, just going to town. Sticky licky me some, please and thank you. That's what I say. So I supports it all. But you don't want global food shortages. That'd be devastating. And you're fighting your neighbor for food. You're fighting for your bagel with your mom's, and you fighting with yourself for some, whatever. We'll just leave this be, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the equipment sometimes does things on its own. That's just a part of it, ain't it? It's just a part of it, ain't it, mate? It's part of this life that we got ourselves into, didn't we there? So sometimes, you gotta support the farmers. And I thank you, please, again, if you're more videos, we as United Farmers of the World unite, and watch more Glad You Made a video. I get it, but I put it up there. You guys, you like it, you like it. If you don't, but still want to watch it and talk about it with your family and friends and all that jazz, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Yeah, I've never told you what to do. I don't even tell myself what to do. Sip to the gang. Thank you for joining me. It's Friday. And as Friday, I'd like to also, just different ideas that I've been thinking about and different things that I'd like to see happen for more of us, each and every one of us out there. I'm just thinking there's so many couples out there who are man, we are about to have a sensual, sit down together as a couple. We're about to fornicate. We're about to fucking go to Pound Town. We're about to see that booty from the backs. We're about that loves right now, but we're missing somebody to play us some sexy, sensual saxophone. And this is what I thought that I'd like to propose this. Every couple should be appointed, or at least gifted perhaps, just a single saxophone player, so that they could be, I call them stowaway saxophone players. So anytime you and your lover want to start making out, you want to start taking off her clothes, she wants to take off your clothes, you're about to go to town, it's about to get nasty in here, close the door. Close the blinds, lower the temperature, increase the temperature. Don't lower leave the temperature be. Doesn't matter. The point is that it's about to go down. But you're like, man, I wish I had a little bit access to live saxophone. This stowaway saxophone players, I think, is going to be the next best thing, right after the mammogram. I think this was sliced breasts. That, man, you fucked that up. It was supposed to be sliced bread. Because sliced breast would be, it doesn't matter. Let us not focus on what we did, and what it happens sometimes. Happens. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that sliced breast, that'd be terrifying. Don't want to see that. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, the stowaway saxophone players could be stowed away anyway. You got a little, walk-in closet, stowaway saxophone player, so when you're about to go down, they can pop out and just fucking sax right there, right next to you. Under your bed, they could be stowed away under your bed. And it doesn't even have to be a walk-in closet. It could just be on the top shelf of any closet. They could be stowed away. Take them on your trips. Put them on top, where your luggage goes. Forget your luggage. Buy clothing items upon arrival and stowaway saxophone player for your intimacy and your love life. So that's one thing that I was thinking about. And also outside of that, I think something that should be incorporated into our daily lives more so than it already is, hot towels. Really, I think it's just about high time. I don't think many people have thought about this, but we don't as a society incorporate enough hot towels in our days. Most often you'd be lucky if you got access to a hot towel if you were taking a trip on a plane somewhere. But I say, why? Why stop there? Why not start your morning with a hot towel right in the face? Just a boiling hot towel just to get you going. Trying to, you're in college. You're like, man, how do I wake up and attend class so I'm energized for the lecture? Or maybe you're a professor giving a lecture. Who knows? But just start your day with a hot towel, hot burning towel on your face and on your hands. Oh, burnage. I'll really wake you up. Look at you in your mid-20s, early 30s. You're going off into the workforce. Start your day with a hot towel. Hot towels are the biggest thing. It changed my life. Ever since I started doing hot towels have emancipated me. They've made me a better person. They've made me a better father. I didn't actually know I was a father until yesterday when I started using hot towels. I've been neglecting my child for some time now. I should probably start giving back to my kids and my family. I'm not a father really, but I could be. If I wanted to, I'd probably be a better one with hot towels. I'll say this. I don't know anything about fatherhood, but if I were to say, would I be better off as a father with a hot towel or without it? I'd like to err on the side of hot towel, please. Yes. Conducting lucrative business meetings or small business meetings that can lead to lucrative business meetings. Throw on a hot towel in there, right on their face. That'll definitely, that'll change their mind. That'll sway the boat. That'll put some, that's because anybody can show up to a meeting in a dress and a suit and a tie and nothing but a tie. Anybody can show up to a business meeting and nothing but a tie. Anybody can show up to a business meeting with nothing but a bow tie. Anybody can show up to a business meeting with nothing but a bow tie and maybe a nice pair of G-strings. Anybody can show up to a nice business meeting with a nice bow tie and a nice G-string and maybe some shoes. Who knows? At least socks. Anybody can do that. But throwing a little bit of hot towels in there, next thing you know, hands are being shook. Backs are being patted. Promotions are just being distributed amongst whoever deserved it, whoever thought about this brilliant idea of hot towels. Hello. So incorporate that more into your life. I think it's going to be big. And I want you to get on the action right in this is the watershed moment. This is where it all starts. This is where it starts with you. It starts with, and you're like, how do I get access to such luxury? It's not just for it. You don't need some fancy machine you could just put a hot towel. You could just moisten up some towels with some water. Chuck it in the oven. Make sure it's, turn up the temperature, make sure it's really hot. As soon as you let it go, and you just walk away. Walk away, set it, forget it. When do you come back to it? As soon as you start having a difficult time breathing because you forgot that you chucked a towel in the oven. And oh my goodness, we almost got a fire, but almost, not yet. There's smoke, the fire alarm has gone off, and that's when you know it's ready. Get in there, no oven mitts, use the heat. A lot of people are like, what about degrees of burns on my skin, on my scalp? Will I lose? Whatever was meant to be lost, you'll lose. Whatever is meant to be yours will be yours. Whatever is, it's Back History Month, you guys. It's Back History Month, you guys, and I think let's stay focused and just unite as one, under one race. Again, racing with ourselves, but with our fellow brethren and sistren. Perhaps one day this concept could be taken to be utilized in different ways, and because I love the analogy of sports. And perhaps I love it. And yeah, if we need to talk about race, if we need to talk about the back for 1 month every year until it gets drilled into people's, we'll fucking do it. We won't back down. Challenge accepted. But that's just neither here or there. Other things that I'm going to be doing just to you know, no particular reason or anything, but I do feel like I gotta be doing different things, and I will be. For this month, I'm gonna focus on watching more ebony porn. I will do that, and that's just because you got to change it up every once in a while. You got to change it just because. And I do have my regular intake of like ebony porn, but I do, for some reason, I just feel like this month I'm gonna focus a little bit more on not like, you know, not drastically more, because I don't want to be just like, but I will definitely watch more ebony porn. I don't know why, but I gotta, just personally speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Where can you find these videos? Again, Wednesday and Friday on Instagram. Follow me there if you like. Subscribe on the YouTube channel to support your boy. So help yourself out there. Check out the other videos. Talk about it. It is a little independent production. Hopefully we get to grow together, learn together, have fun together. Hopefully your boy gets to work with other people who are either like-minded or different-minded, so we can have different minds and different and similar minds too, and similar hearts and similar hearts and similar farts. And yes. And remember, if you like to fiscally, financially support the show, to see it grow, to see it expand beyond your wildest imaginations, to see compounds and to see larger productions, to see immense amounts of money being spent on production, to see fire just being, you know, oh man, whatever. Confetti, you like confetti? We'll give you confetti. You like balloons? We'll throw in balloons. You like wild animals? We'll bring in the wildest of animals. Do you like rare bush meat? Do you like to consume rare bush meat out there? We will get you the rarest of animals who are on the verge of extinction, and we will dine behind us. Like not me, but I will have people dining on animals who are on the verge of it. If that's what you want to see, yeah, you know what to do. If you like to see us take off, if you like to see us go to the moon, if you like to see us go to the Mars, if you like to see us go to Mercury, if you like to see us on other planets, we're already doing that, because like I think airwaves are like really like you can fucking, it goes a long distance, but like physically, you want to see that shit happen. You want to see you want to see rockets behind this shit. You want to see us shoot rockets, shooting rockets that shoot at each other. You want to see rockets that burn jet fuel. You want to see rockets that burn no fuel. Do you want to see a rocket take off and then just like, just fucking not go anywhere? Because like, the typical trajectory for a rocket is to get somewhere, but do you want to just see a rocket just fucking take off and just hover in the background? We can do that easily, and it just takes you, me, and sure, we could use and then later on, once we've gotten all that, we'll put more people on the moon. We'll fucking do it together, and that's what it takes. It takes you, me, the moon being there, of course. I can't promise that by the time that we're ready to go to the moon, I can't promise that the moon will be there. It's been there all this time. I'm gonna say that I'll be there by the time that we're ready. But on my part, I will keep my promise. On the moon's part, So thank you for joining me. Again, talk about it with your family or friends, your loved ones. I'll be back here again next week on Wednesday. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend out there. Have fun. Go eat her out. Give him that blowjob that he's been asking for all week long. He's worked hard, and fucking let's go. Back power, baby. Back power. Peace out.